That's about as American as it gets, bro.
It's America.
Is this thing on?
Check 1 2 1 2.
It's fucking crazy.
They're invincible, indestructible, and he's living for like 10,000 years.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hunt for Greatness podcast.
To make it as efficient as possible.
I heard Trader Joe's, they actually like have a person that goes out like and goes all over the world and picks the best ingredients, and they.
Well, I would consider that to be a lie.
Is it a lie?
I would consider it to be a lie because I think Trader Joe's is cheap food.
Really?
Yep.
So we can put these on now if you
Okay.
want. Tell me, you can probably hear me in yours, right?
I can.
Does it sound like I'm whispering in your ear?
No, not really. It looks like you're whispering in my ear.
I'm gonna bring this in to you, and then you get comfortable.
All right.
And like this mic kind of works like this. So like, and that one's like janky as hell, dude. So
Did Jordan beat this one up?
he
Is
beat
that
the
why
hell
it's
out
so
of that
janky?
one, dude. Thanks, Jordan Jennings.
Am I close enough to the mic?
You want to see? It's a little loose there, you know, a little loosey goosey.
All right.
Yeah, you want to you get comfortable, kind of, and then yeah, that's probably not gonna work. Here, put your leg on the outside of the mic, or actually, we'll bring this a little closer to you. Try not to yank my GoPro off. You can hold it, dude. Here, you can unplug that. That does nothing. That just charges it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can get that thing up out your face if you'd rather just hold it. But see how I got mine?
Don't you have any duct tape that you fix that you use to fix furniture?
That's all I use, dude. If you can't duck it, fuck it. Ain't that what they say?
I don't know what they say. Who is they?
Yeah, that's pretty, dude. That's pretty unique. I like that.
But,
I gotta take a picture of that, dude. That's the one I'll post on Instagram.
Well, when it was upside down, it was falling out. So
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
yeah.
I got Josh Shipman on the Hunt for Greatness podcast, and he's already innovating in this sumbitch. Boy, let me take a picture of you.
Maybe not so much innovating, but adapting to my surroundings.
God, see, that's why I needed you. Yeah, I got some deep. I didn't read you none of the deep questions before we got started, but I got some deep questions for you, man, because I got mad respect for you as a person.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude. So what really got me wanting to have you on is I was super interested on how to smoke meat. And by smoking meat, I mean on the grill, not with my mouth. You got me? You understand me?
I got you.
Okay, all right.
I got you.
Yeah, it's because, see, I want you to explain to the listeners, basically, how to smoke a brisket. Like, kind of the same way you explained it to me the other day. It's to me, there's a lot to it, a lot more to it than slapping that steak on a cast iron skillet, putting it in the oven. You know, simple. It's not really, I guess it's time consuming, and it takes a lot of patience for me, from my perspective of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just explain to me how you would smoke a brisket from start to finish. That's what I really would like to hear, because I'm going to reference this in the future.
Okay. I guess anytime you're really creating in the kitchen, you have to allow yourself a lot of time. I don't think people appreciate how much time and effort goes into scratch cooking. Anytime that you are involving a lot of fresh ingredients, there's definitely prep time that's involved. Setting aside the time and making sure that you have the proper material to do everything is one of the most important parts. People sometimes balk when they see the price of some of the things that are out there, but when you're really looking for the quality end product, a little bit more effort and money and a lot of times is very necessary.
Right.
You hear a lot about grain-fed beef, all of the free range when you're talking about the chicken and the eggs, and once you start to diversify and venture out and try some of those things, you really do notice the quality difference in everything. So brisket's the same way. My experience in the past has been with Angus. If you're in Wilmington, Costco has some of the best meat in town. They really do a great
So
job.
you would get a brisket from Costco, probably.
Most of the time, actually, I go to Sam's. I'm used to Sam's.
Okay,
Sam's.
okay.
I'm lucky enough to have gone to culinary school, so I get asked to cook for a lot of people a lot of times. Costco is more geared towards a homeowner who might do things a little bit bigger every once in a while, and Sam's is more geared towards somebody who might be catering or owning a restaurant.
So way bigger.
Bigger portions, and then you know the power of repetition after you've gone to some place for a long time.
Yeah.
I've been going to Sam's for a long time.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can tell you the price of probably 90% of the products in there,
So
just because I've been in there so many
so
times.
Sam's with a brisket, do you have to buy like a 15-pounder, or can you get like a, I forget what the cut's called, but it's like a 5 to 7 pound. It's like the side maybe.
I haven't seen them cut that small. I know that when an old roommate of mine, Bridge, and we would do the rib roast. You could get smaller sizes of rib roast where you would have to buy the entire loin at Sam's. You could get smaller cuts, and we do our prime ribs in the oven.
Oh.
Yeah.
So okay, this is a dumb question, but
No such thing. No
prime
such thing.
rib, is it actually the rib meat of the animal?
It's the rib loin, yes.
Okay, what's the loin? What does that mean?
So you've got primal cuts, which are the larger cuts. On my Facebook page, I used to have a steamship round posted
clue.
with
No clue, buddy.
And so a steamship round is the hip of a cow.
Okay.
And I don't think a lot of people realize how big these animals are sometimes, because it was probably half the size of my torso.
Good gracious.
And that was just his hip. So, we made that for, they have a Methodist Home for Children does a dinner each year, and they award the best chef in town. Everybody volunteers a table, and they put out a dish, and then everybody votes on it. So it's a really neat
that's
event.
cool.
And they call it, I think it's the Golden Bowl.
Yeah.
Or something of that sort. The top chef in town wins each year. So while I was in culinary school, I volunteered for that. So you have your primal cuts, and your smaller cuts are off of that. I can't remember what they are all called. This is something I had to memorize years and years ago. In culinary
Steamship
school.
round.
Well, that was the hip of the cow.
Why is it called that? Any idea?
No, I never looked that one up, actually. I was good knowing that it was a steamship round, and it was the largest single piece of meat that I had ever seen before in my life.
Steamship round.
Take a roast beef at a carving table and multiply it by 10, and then put a big
Good gracious.
a hip bone right in the middle of it.
So it's bone in.
It was a bone in, and I have to let you know, you already did it once,
What?
but to some people, my language at times and the manner in which I joke is offensive.
Yeah, you don't have to be offensive on this podcast.
Okay.
If you don't want to.
Okay.
But I probably
Okay.
will be a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a touch.
Just a touch. That's okay, but so I'm trying to steer away from that in my life.
That's awesome,
I'm
dude.
trying to steer away.
See, that's important to me, like
Yeah.
the man you are becoming.
Yeah.
We'll get back into it, I'm sure, again, but let's go back to the brisket and
brisket.
because that's how I want to wrap it
You said the rib
up.
loin. You said the rib loin.
Yeah,
Is the rib loin an actual piece of the rib? Yes.
Okay.
They will quarter the cow. Rocky in the movie
Yeah.
was punching
Yeah.
sides of beef.
Yeah.
That gets cut in half. That gets dissected into loins or pieces.
Right.
You probably have maybe 15 pieces, and then you cut out of all of those. What's left over, you make ground beef.
Okay. So ground beef's like the sawdust.
It can be, and it might not be. It depends on what they make it out of.
Okay.
I worked at a restaurant up in Raleigh called Winston's, and we shaved our own steaks, and then we made meatloaf every Tuesday. It was the busiest shift of the week, and it was homemade meatloaf, and they used the trimmings of a sirloin, a ribeye, and filet.
Oh.
That was some pretty good roast ground beef. So
Oh
depends
my
on what
God.
you're making. If you're going to make burgers, what do you want? Do you want trash burgers? or do
I
you
don't
want
like
some
trash
really good
anything,
burgers?
buddy.
Yeah,
I really don't. Like, I'd rather just pay the money and get something that's a little more quality.
Goes right back, and food is a necessity of life.
Yeah.
So why not put the best thing possible in your body?
Yeah, dude.
Why not?
I was honestly just thinking that the other day. I was
Okay.
like, I don't do drugs. I don't drink alcohol.
Mhm.
I was like, that's a lot of money that's not being spent.
Yeah.
You know, so I could take a little bit of that and just buy a little bit better quality food. And, you know, we don't really eat fast food. So we don't eat
Good.
fast food. Not a whole lot of processed stuff. I don't have any processed meat in my
Very good.
refrigerator. And that has been an entire year of me trying to adapt to basically eating meat and veggies.
Mhm.
And I'll eat, like, on the weekends, I'll eat a couple sweets on the weekends just to kind of keep my sanity. And
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And I know that there are extremes to every diet. I did the keto diet for a while. I did it for about 3 months, and that was a very extreme, very regimented diet. It was easy for me because I was able to diversify. You know, there's like 8 or 10 vegetables that you can eat on there because their sugar content is low enough.
yeah.
And you know, everybody was like, "Ah, you're so limited." And I was like, "Well, what 5 vegetables did you eat this past week?"
Yeah,
And most people couldn't say 3.
no, because they
most
didn't eat
people-
but 3. That's why they probably ate
If
2 and they
ate
said
3,
another one.
They said a potato. I had French fries. I had, you know, so it's very limited.
Well, mac and cheese counts for a vegetable at the buffet.
It depends. If you're eating at the buffet, you might have to look at that behavior in and of itself.
Yeah.
So
Every once in a while, that's okay.
it was a trip. I've been eating real healthy since the beginning of the year. Nothing processed. I'm not trying to cut out natural sugars, but last night, my lovely other half, she has to work tonight.
Yeah.
She works in the restaurant industry, so we went out to dinner, and we gorged.
Yeah.
It was a
What'd
great
you eat?
restaurant. It was
What'd you eat?
we had fresh mussels. We had bruschetta. We had a great spinach salad. She got lobster tails, and I got a Delmonico steak.
What is that?
A Delmonico is, if you've heard of a filet and a filet mignon,
Yeah.
the quality of the steak on the loin. So you can have an entire filet loin, and you know, only a certain end of it is filet mignon because of the quality of it. And so the Delmonico is the filet mignon of the rib loin. So it's the highest possible quality ribeye. you
Where'd
can
y'all
get.
eat?
A place called Rocco.
Oh, yeah, Italian place right there in
Yeah.
Mayfair. I've eaten there.
Yeah.
I got
Some of the best food.
dude, I got I think it was veal.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God, dude, it was so good, dude. I mean, it was, and then we got a cheesecake, I believe, or I believe it was a cheesecake, and we started eating it, and I'm like, this kind of tastes like alcohol a little bit, and I was like,
The strawberries had been soaked.
yeah, that's what I asked the lady, I was like, hey, this kind of a little bit tastes like alcohol, and she's like, oh, something soaked in rum or something,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, well, it's not going to get me drunk, and she was like, no, it won't get you drunk, and I was like, okay, it really wasn't that good, though, it had a bitter, I didn't like it.
The flavor of alcohol isn't that good.
It's
We
really not
adapt it.
to me. Yeah, to
we
me.
adapt to it.
I'm sure people were like drunk by the time they get the cheesecake, so it's like, oh, you know, it's a little more taste of alcohol. So they're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but that place is phenomenal.
Scratch Kitchen.
So they make everything from scratch.
They make their own pasta.
Dude,
They go that far.
dude, their
They
noodles.
make all their own desserts. They do everything.
Have you seen Chef's Table on Netflix?
Yep.
Ooh, that's such a good show,
Yep.
dude.
Yep.
That's
It's
so-
enjoyable.
Dude, it's so good. Like the intro.
But you know, when I went to culinary school, I'm pretty good at cooking. I can cook for a lot of people, and I think that's more so my desire to make people happy when I cook. I enjoy making people happy. But my creativity level is nowhere near what
Right.
a true chef is.
Well, there's different kinds of chefs, isn't there?
Yeah, but when you start hanging around with some of these cats and they're in the kitchen and they are given a set of ingredients, you see some people and they're just 3, 4, 5 levels above where
Yeah.
you might be at that time in life, and they just I realized that I could probably manage a kitchen better than anyone I know. My managerial skills are very good, and by having the textbook knowledge that goes along with the degree of learning all about the processes of the food and being knowledgeable about all the management styles and whatnot, that I would be very good at that, but I would never be a chef that could design a menu that could come up with all these neat things. I'd never be
So
featured on the
interesting.
cover of a cooking magazine.
Right,
or
but some of those
anything like
dudes
that.
don't know how to manage though.
No,
That's
no.
the thing. That's
They're-
why they have their head or their
It works in a different left brain, right brain.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I think is one of your strong points is that ever since I've known you about 8 years now. I've been down here almost 8 years. So I feel like your delivery and your ability to remain calm in situations that might piss a lot of people off. I think that is a strong like characteristic that you have basically, and I think that plays a big part in managerial skills.
Yeah.
Because like if a manager's telling you to do something and their delivery's not quite right, I'm gonna be like, "Fuck you, bro." You know, like I don't want to do
Certainly.
it. Everybody has bad days
Yeah.
and snaps and everything like that, but I think that is an important quality to have if you're gonna run something or be the head guy in charge. You know, and being able to work right alongside of the guys that are working for you is an important quality that I think too. If they see you working, they're gonna be like, "Well, that dude, he don't really have to work. I mean, he could have just told me to do this, but he's right here beside me doing it with me." I just think that's important. The best managers I've ever worked for are ones like that.
Yeah.
That will maybe pull you to the side instead of getting pissed at you in front of everybody. Pull you to the side and be like, "Hey, man, you're kind of slacking on your work a little bit. Let's tighten it up." But your delivery, dude, and I know when you were just talking about you like to make people happy. I was at a camp out and you were cooking one time, and I remember how happy you were. Like I was just like helping you carry some stuff or something, and I just remember like you were so happy to be out there doing that. I was like, this is pretty damn cool right here. Like it's something that everybody loves. Everybody loves to eat, pretty much for the most part.
Yeah.
And like you're feeding people, and I just feel like it's such a strong bonding agent for people. You sit down and have a meal with people. Same thing with this podcast, like. So I'm not going to keep picking up my phone and looking at it while me and you were talking. Whereas in everyday normal life, sometimes you talk to people and they're like looking at their phone or doing other stuff or like not paying attention to what you're saying. It's such a good bonding agent, almost like eating. It's like something that I compare that to. It's important, I feel like, in 2019 to have things in your life to connect you to other people, like face to face.
Well, you know, what you're describing is your passion and my passion.
Yeah.
So if I'm truly passionate about something and I'm putting my heart into it and I'm being open and I'm being, you know, it's a very daunting and daring thing to cook for 100 people that are hypercritical.
Yeah, dude.
Like
it
that's
really
a
is.
big thing to put out, to say, hey, I'm going to bare my soul and talk to other people and ask them to bare their soul, and I'm going to publicly broadcast this.
Yeah.
That's not everybody is, you know, as comfortable in their own skin to be able to do that. So
Right.
I think the vulnerability that comes along with it creates that atmosphere where you've just experienced something together, or you have put yourself out there in a manner that you know, it's just brave and daring. And when you talk about food, to me, it's very spiritual.
Yeah.
You know, it fills the spirit. You know, it makes you feel good. It's a necessity of life. And there's nothing, you know, how many things in life do you have to do every day?
You don't, I guess, I mean, you got to sleep, you got to eat. You don't have to sleep, but you need to sleep.
Yeah.
You need to eat.
Yeah.
Do you intermittent fast at all?
No.
You ever tried it?
No.
So,
I think I like food too much.
dude, I love food. I love food, and I feel you, dude, but I've been doing it. Now, I'll take a couple days, like a few days out of the month where I won't do it. I'll eat like breakfast early or something like that. Like on Saturdays, I like to go to Rise. Have you ever been to Rise? In Mayfair?
No, not yet.
Very good. It's
Yeah.
biscuits and donuts, and
Yeah.
they make everything from scratch there too. It's phenomenal. I get a chicken.
I ate there one time.
Yeah,
I do
okay.
remember, yeah. I
Okay.
picked up biscuits for everybody there.
Yeah, so their biscuits are so good. Okay, I get a chicken biscuit with bacon, eggs, house-made pimento cheese, honey, and hot sauce, and
Nice.
it's so good.
Sounds good.
Dude, it's so good.
Sweet, hot, savory, all
yeah,
together in
dude,
there.
yeah.
There's a lot
So
of different textures.
So I'll eat there like I'll eat
special treat.
I'll eat breakfast like once a week, maybe a couple times a month. But I intermittent fast.
So you don't do breakfast in the morning.
No, never. I drink a little bit of water. That's it. I'll drink like a coffee at like 11 to hold me over till 12:30, and then I'll eat.
Purpose?
For the coffee?
No, for not eating breakfast.
just because I think we eat way too much, and just from the shit that I've been listening to, and I've been doing it for a year now. So actually over a year. I started 2017 in early December. So, dude, it was rough at first because I'm used to getting up and eating breakfast, and like my whole life I was told breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Which, I mean, it very well could be still. It's just, when am I going to break my fast at this point? Like, I have I eat for 8 hours a day. So between 12 and 8, I'll eat 12 and 8 p.m. If I eat past 8 p.m., I'll wait a little bit longer to eat the next day, usually. Like, I'm not like a Nazi about it, like a crazy person.
Sure.
But, you know, I'm consciously aware. Like, this morning, I wanted a McGriddle so bad, bro. Like, it took everything I had not to stop. And it's...
Do you put an egg on a McGriddle?
Oh, yeah. But I get sausage, egg, and cheese, dude.
Jeez, oh,
sausage, egg, and cheese, dude.
You are out of control.
Dude, this morning... No, I didn't get one now. This morning, I wanted one so bad because I did squats yesterday. Every time after I do squats, I'm so hungry that, like, the next morning, I'm, like, starving when I wake up. And I'm like, don't do it. Just go to work. You'll forget about it. Like, you'll forget how hungry you are right now. And I just went to work and continued on and didn't eat and ate at 12 o'clock some chicken salad that I made from scratch.
Nice. What time do you go to bed?
I usually go to bed like 9:30. I go to bed early. He wears me out, dude.
That's interesting. Well,
Yeah.
I guess because of my own personal issues, that's interesting because I'm not supposed to eat multiple hours before I go. Hiatal hernia causes great amount of acid reflux.
Before you go where? To bed, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're supposed to be, and there's different thought processes. I mean, there's 15, 20 different diets out there that are very popular right now that people are doing, that all have a different premise. That's all true.
Right.
You know, and it just depends on what works for the person, what a person can stick with. I am of the mindset that jump-starting the metabolism, getting it going right first thing in the morning, a glass of water when you wake up, and a glass of water right before you go to bed, two of the most important things you can do.
I don't drink one before I go to bed. I should, though.
Yeah.
I really love milk, and I shouldn't drink it before I go to bed, but I do.
Yeah, you know, is it hurting you?
It's got a lot of sugar, and I didn't know that till like 3 days ago. I've been drinking milk my whole
lot of sugar
Kim
in
was
milk.
like, hey, you know there's 12 grams of sugar in this thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Per
Cup or something? I don't.
1/8 of a cup or something.
Oh my god! I was like, you mean
And
chocolate milk,
you
right?
probably
No.
got this big old mug full of
I
milk.
drink out of the gallon, buddy.
Okay,
We're the only
there you
people that
go.
live here, so I'm.
You're okay with everybody who drinks out
Dude,
of that.
I am, dude. We're blood up in here. But I didn't realize that, and I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
start drinking water before I go to bed instead of milk because I would like to keep my strength where it's at and eventually shave off about 5 or 10 more pounds of fat. Now I've lost 15 pounds of fat since I started.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I know it's fat for the most part because you're turning my headphones up with your foot.
Who am I? Did I?
Does it sound louder in your headphones?
I don't know.
Dude, it's way louder in mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
My apology.
You're good.
I just really wanted you to hear what I had to say.
Dude, so yeah, it's ruined milk for me almost at this point.
It's amazing how overpowering our thoughts can be as we try to achieve our goals. You know, because when I was starting to get on the diet and starting to look at everything in sugars, I mean, I went very excessive on everything I was doing, and it's very hard to keep that going, being on such a strict line. And it was amazing as I started doing my research because I had the app that would look up every single thing and the amount of sugars
Like
in,
a macro counter.
No, not so much. Well, the sugars was my main concern because
Yeah.
I was trying to alleviate the sugar. So it just, you know, but the vegetables, all the vegetables that I love to eat, you know, like carrots. Not
I
really.
hate how they have sugar in them too. That's like such a
I know, I love and
bummer.
yeah, and all the fruit. All
Oh,
the fruit.
it's such a bummer.
like
Simple sugars, which are better for you than refined sugars, but still.
not on that diet.
What, on the keto? Yeah.
You're supposed to limit them. So a bowl of strawberries knocks you out of the park for the day.
get you out of ketosis too.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever reach ketosis?
Oh yeah, I was in it for a
How
long
do you know?
period of
Blood
time.
test? Did you have a piss test or?
No, well, yeah, it was little pH strips looking
Yeah.
like things, and
Yeah.
I'd just pee on them, and it would turn a certain color, and then there was the chart on the back of it.
Yeah.
So
So
I
was.
stayed in it probably for about 2.5 months.
I was gonna say I did keto for 6 months, but I don't know if I was ever in keto. I feel like I was in extreme ketosis, like a few times, dude. Like during my intermittent fast, I feel like that sped up the process of, because I did intermittent fast and keto diet.
So when you're saying intermittent fasting, are you saying because you don't eat till noon and you stop eating
Every
at
day.
8 that is intermittent
Yeah,
fasting?
every day it's a feeding window, so it's called intermittent fasting.
Mhm.
So it's intermittent, but it's every day. So 12 hours I fast. I don't eat. I
Yeah.
drink water, maybe coffee every once. No sugar in the coffee.
Mhm.
That coffee's got sugar in it, but I rarely drink coffee.
Sugar or stevia?
Well, it's got creamer in it, which has sugar in it, but no sugar.
Soy, almond.
I don't even. No, that's International Delight right there,
Oh,
boy.
that's full of sugar.
It's got like 6 grams, dude. That's
Come
not that
on,
bad,
man.
dude. That's not that bad. Couple teaspoons of creamer in
You
there.
don't even on the
Dude,
International Delight.
sugar's-
You don't even need sugar.
Dude, no, you don't. And sugar's so fucking bad, dude. It's just, dude, it's terrible for you. So it's cool that you got with that, like the whole, because I feel like in the past few years they've really cracked down on how bad sugar is for you. Because used to they would think it was fat, but on the keto diet you're eating a lot of fats. Like that's what your body's running on that as
Yeah.
fuel. And that, I think that's being in ketosis, where the ketones, I believe your body burns or uses ketones instead of carbohydrates
Yep.
to function.
Yep.
But if you're lifting weights, you still need a few carbs. Like on a day you're training hard,
Oh, yeah.
eat a few carbs. That's what I do.
Well, you naturally get carbs just from foods low in carbs anyway.
Yeah. So you'll have some carbs. I eat a lot of peanuts,
Yeah.
walnuts, almonds. Like if I'm real hungry and I don't have time to get something,
Pistachios and cashews.
I love pistachios, dude.
That was
they're
my
s-
go-to.
Dude, those are the best nuts right there.
Yeah.
Pistachios and cashews. They're so good. Dude, I'm pretty sure cashews are like a flower. Do you know anything about that?
I have not seen that.
I'm pretty sure. Let's look it up real quick. But I'm
Okay.
pretty sure cashews is like a flower, and you actually, every flower bears one cashew, and you have to like pick the cashew off the top of the flower. That's why they're so fucking expensive.
Well, they aren't nearly as much as a macadamia nut.
I bet you a long process
'Cause
goes
those-
into making those.
crack half the time when you get them. So to get a whole macadamia nut, those I think are about the most expensive.
Okay, show me a bunch of peanuts. Oh, this is This is like a cashew. It's like a squash looking thing. That's the cashew on the bottom of that thing.
Oh my goodness.
So I guess it's like a tree with a.
Hmm.
Oh, but me and Josh were just talking about. I don't know if I had the mic on or not, but I'm not gonna name any names, Mom. But my mom, I believe, now I could be mistaken, is the one that told me Trader Joe's sends somebody out to find the best ingredients in the world. And my man right here says that is not true, Mom. So get your facts straight, Mama.
If you ever get any of their frozen meat, I mean, they look so good as you're walking through the frozen food section. It's a bunch of international dishes. They look so good. It's something you'd get at Indochine or Double Happiness, at your better higher end Thai or Asian cuisine, and you get it home and you heat it up in the microwave, and it's just awful. It's just
Dude,
awful.
I have had some terrible things from there. I really Their olive oil is very good to
Okay.
me. I really
I'm
like.
sure there's a couple of things in there that are good.
I like their olive oil. This shit's full of sugar, but it's so good. And I drank it a couple years ago. But it's like a Macintosh apple juice they have.
Uh-huh.
It's so good. They only have it a little bit out of the season, but I try to stay away from there because it's way too expensive to me. Like it seems like it's
Trader Joe's
it
is?
just seems like it's overpriced for what it is.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know. I mean,
I
so
don't
you
know.
said they're
the more I increase my fruit and vegetable intake
mm-hmm.
and a lot of leafy greens, the more I increase that, the less my budget is each month for food.
Because they're expensive. Or you're saying
What,
you?
the vegetables? No, I go to Whole Foods and I go to Harris Teeter and I get the best, absolute best
Yeah.
organic vegetables I can find.
Yeah, it's a different taste, dude. It tastes different.
It does, I think, and the quality is real good. But as I lessen the amount of proteins that because I really don't need that much.
Yeah.
I don't need a 20-ounce steak every night. We went out to eat. We were in the middle of that. We went out to eat. I woke up this morning. I felt awful.
What time do you eat?
5:30 reservations.
That's
I'm
not
old,
bad, dude. That's not bad though.
We're
What
out
ti-
of there at 7:30. The amount of food that I ate was triple what I would eat at a dinner if I made dinner for myself.
Right.
So
So it was like your body was still trying to process that.
oh my god.
So okay,
I
so
had a pit in my stomach, and I hadn't done that to myself in a long time. Now I used to eat to I don't even know what the word is, but that's how I used to eat.
yeah, till you were totally full and almost miserable.
I would eat to misery.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's kind of you get kind of some pleasure out of that. You know what I mean? Just eating and eating and eating, and then there is a like consequence to that. Is feeling miserable and not wanting to do anything.
Most certainly.
So okay, so that's a big reason why I intermittent fast why I won't eat after 8 o'clock, because to me I've listened to a lot of different things about it, and they say your body, your intestines and digestion, and it takes time, right?
Mhm.
So the more that's digesting all the time, it's almost like putting miles on your stomach. Like it's
Okay.
like a car almost, and you're like
Sure.
putting miles on it. Like it's always working, always working. So
Yeah.
like if I go to sleep, I eat right before I go to sleep or an hour before, and then I wake up and I eat. It's like my body's still digesting the food from the night before. It never stops. So like it's on and on and on. But if you give your body, they do more extreme intermittent fast than what I do. But if you give it the 12 hour, or what is it, 16 hour. So I do a 16-hour fast and I eat for 8 hours. Well, that adds up to 24, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's my 24 hours. I give my body 16 hours to digest the food that I ate the day before. I eat only 2 meals a day.
Mhm.
So I may eat like a snack, like some peanuts or some cheese or something. Like
Mhm.
I may eat that if I get real hungry and don't have a meal because I'm not eating Taco Bell and shit. I ain't doing it. It's terrible, dude. It's so bad. It's so bad, dude. You going night? Come give me a kiss. Giving my son a kiss so he can go night. Give me a kiss. All right, go with mama. Night,
Can
night, baby.
Are you gonna give me a high five yet? Nuh-uh. Why not? That's the second time.
Night night. Yeah, but that's the analogy that's kind of what I've heard a lot of different people talk about.
Sure.
Like, as far as putting miles on your body and you're not giving your digestive tract time to rest.
Yeah.
And then you might find this interesting, like probiotics and things like do you know anything about gut biome at all?
I don't know about gut biome.
Or gut microbiome?
No.
Like eating.
I do know that probiotics help the digestive tract and keep everything healthy in there.
Right, yeah. See, I'm going to read a book about this because I don't know a lot about it either. But a lot of people are like paying attention to your gut biome now and like leaky gut. And they actually say it correlates with the way your brain works.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you eat shitty all the time, like you're not getting full potential out of your brain.
So when you were in ketosis, did you get the mental clarity piece?
Dude, I felt pretty sharp.
Yeah.
I felt pretty sharp, like pretty on point, like especially when I exercised.
Uh-huh.
When I exercised, after that, I'm like, all right, let's go. What do you got for me? Let's figure this shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about you? Did you?
Oh, it was like a pinball machine.
Clear as
Bing,
day.
Bing, bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
I hit the grand prize for about a month.
Yeah, see, I think ketosis had something to do with it, but I also think eating organic vegetables and grass-fed meat and things of that nature, I think, like, if I'm eating a lot of junk all the time, it's going to affect my mental clarity.
Sure.
It's going to affect my sleep, and the fatter you get, the less, like, that's how you get sleep apnea, too.
Body's using energy to try and process, carry extra weight. I mean, you're putting a
The list
strain
goes
on
on.
the entire system.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so I'm happy that you said that about your
it's
diet.
interesting that they consider that, because if you look, so I sit there, and that's why I asked what time you go to bed. I'm of the thought process, the carbs earlier in the day boost your get going with
Yeah.
just a tad bit of sugar. So I do the probiotic yogurt, a bunch of fruit with some granola first thing in the morning, every morning.
Mhm.
Go straight to the gym. But I'm up at 4:30.
Right. Oh, you
So
get up super early.
Super
Okay.
early. And I can't function without something to burn away.
Will function
I-
as in your workout
Ideally, function.
or as in your brain?
I think it's a combination of all of it.
Okay.
I will continue to feel. I feel like the boost of sugar helps me out.
It probably does.
I'm a little bit more, and I do the caffeine.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
having
yeah.
a cup of coffee first thing in the morning to go
Yeah.
with it, but it's not a gluttonous portion by any means. So, I have to be careful to make sure that I don't eat too much. It'll come back up. I'll have very bad heartburn. But ideally, I'd love to eat dinner at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Shannon hates that.
Would she rather eat later?
Yeah, well, she is on an opposite schedule of me. She would rather.
Oh.
She naturally sleeps in later and stays up later,
Okay.
and I naturally wake up very early, and the brain starts.
4:30 is
working.
early.
It's early, but that's when the brain starts working, and I can go to bed at 8. I'm fine with it.
Dude,
Not
I
really a
probably
lot,
could too,
Not
honestly.
really a lot going on after 8. After you get to a certain point in life.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I agree. I'll usually I'm reading that book right now, but I'll usually sit in my bed and just like I got a little lamp and
Uh-huh.
she'll watch something on Netflix and I'll like read to kind of
Yeah.
calm down at the end of the day. And I'm trying to like it's for me reading is important doing this podcast because I need to know how to talk to people about different subjects and I need to know a little about everything so I can like hang in there with you on a conversation on something that I might not know a lot about, but I can keep you talking so I can learn more about it. So that's what I try to do to kind of like, because I'm pretty wide open throughout the day. Like I try to stay always doing something, even like when I take a break, I'm planning something to do or, trying to get my stuff done. But
I'm lucky I can fall asleep like that.
I pretty much can too, dude.
I've done it twice in the past year. I've gone to get my teeth cleaned at the dentist.
Fell asleep.
while they're cleaning my teeth. The dentist thinks it's the funniest thing in the world.
You start snoring?
He said, "You're a show off. That's what you are." I was like, "If you only knew."
Where do you go get your teeth cleaned?
A little place right there on right past the municipal golf course. Dr. Mann. I think
Okay.
that's his name.
Okay.
He's a real nice guy. Super nice.
Yeah.
So chill.
Falling asleep, getting your teeth
falling
clean,
asleep,
boy.
at
You got some straight ass teeth,
At
dude.
any moment, I used to sharpen them a lot. At any moment, I can usually go to bed if there's nothing going on. It's all right. It's nap time.
Yeah.
Because there's always something else to do during the waking hours. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm lucky in that aspect that I can fall asleep. I do the first thing in the morning. My brain is very, very active. So I do probably 2 to 3 hours in the gym between stretching,
Holy
and
shit.
exercises, and getting on the treadmill for long periods of time, either running or elliptical or something of that sort. So I'm doing books on Audible books.
Yeah. How do you like that?
Love it.
Do you?
Absolutely love it.
Okay.
I probably get about 5 to 7 books under my belt a month.
What do you have, Prime or?
I got the Audible app.
Oh, Audible is an actual app.
It's an app through Amazon.
Oh, it's through Amazon.
And you
Okay.
can buy the books. You sign a membership. You get a couple of books that are Amazon originals. And if you've got Amazon Prime, you know that they're really investing some money
Yeah, I
into
got
their
Prime.
own products.
Yeah.
Some of the Amazon original series, like we just had Bird Box.
Yeah, it was dope.
That was an Amazon
That's Netflix,
original.
but good
No,
try.
that was a Netflix
Good try, sir.
original. I got Netflix. I got Prime. I got
Yeah, me too.
HBO, Showtime.
Me
I mean,
too.
I got every. There's nothing
I don't have
can't-
cable, dude.
There's nothing I can't watch on TV.
I have zero cable, and I
Yeah.
can watch anything out there, dude.
So Amazon.
I'm just
and
messing with you
Netflix-
about-
No, you're absolutely right. But they both are investing in themselves,
Mhm.
which is a great business model. To reinvest in yourself, to diversify with more products.
Oh, they're taking over.
Somebody else will next.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
think?
their turn right now.
Because Bezos owns the New York Times. Did you know that?
AOL.
Who owns AOL?
AOL. At one point in time, they had 98% of all internet share
crazy.
with everything that they had going on, and everybody had an AOL account.
Yeah, I did.
Uh-huh.
I was
What
in
was-
I was
what
in them
was-
chat rooms,
What
boy.
what was your AOL?
Dude, I don't
name?
know, something really
don't
stupid.
remember?
I was so young, dude. I don't remember. I honestly
understand.
don't.
I'm
It
surprised.
was probably
that you
like
had-
baseball 842 shortstop
How-
1 or
How
something.
old are you now?
I'm about to turn 29 on Saturday. Is
Okay.
it Saturday? The 17th? Yeah. I think it's Saturday.
It's coming up.
No, Sunday. I don't know.
Sunday.
Sunday
Happy-
or Saturday.
Happy early birthday.
Thanks, dude.
That's
I'll be
awesome.
I loved being 28.
29 is you're still a young man. They say that you can no longer. It used to be. I read this in Men's Health the other day. It used to be when you turned 30, you could no longer say you were young.
Oh.
But now it's 50.
I'm young forever, baby.
If you say so.
Hey, look, dude.
It's all in the
dude,
mind.
the shit they're
30's
coming
a
up
big
with.
birthday, though.
Dude, yeah, 30's a big birthday.
a
Well,
big
hey,
birthday.
we're having if you get time, we're gonna cook some oysters over here.
Oh, very good.
Like I think
Are
I
you gonna
told
come
you,
get the
I
roaster?
told you about this.
Yeah.
On Friday we're doing it because her parents are coming down here on Saturday, Sunday, so I don't want to have like a bunch of
not to meet her
those
parents.
type of people over here.
Yeah.
But
Understand?
yeah, I might come get the thing, dude.
Okay.
And then you can just show me how to use it, and I'll bring it back to you the next day.
Put water in it and turn on the flames.
Hell yeah,
That's it.
cool. I'm cool with it.
That's it.
Yeah, 'cause them some bitches blow off shrapnel out there in the fire, son. Dude, they blow off barnacle shrapnel out there, hit you in your face and shit.
I've never tried it like
I
that.
swear to God, dude, you put them on a grate, and that when them flames are hitting it, or even on a grill,
Uh-huh.
if them flames are hitting it and you ain't got a wet towel or nothing, they're good. They're phenomenal. They get a little crunchy in there. I like them like that. A little bit of ash on them, dude. You know what I'm saying? But they start
What are you
popping and
saying?
blowing
Oh
up.
my God.
Dude, this shit'll hit you in the face, all kinds of shit.
I'll try them one time.
I think I'm gonna try your way this time.
Okay. It's a little safer.
Yeah, well, it's me and Jordan's birthday,
Uh-huh.
and then Kim just had a birthday, so we're just gonna do like a joint
Very good.
party. Yeah, just have 20 people.
Sure.
Put some hot dogs on some skewers and cook them
Uh-huh.
on the fire. I got a bunch of firewood from the hurricane,
Very
so we're
good.
just gonna hang out. But
I hear
if you get time, come through.
Sure.
I know your bedtime's 8 o'clock, so come through a little before that, and
Yeah.
we'll get it popping for you. We'll get it popping for you. But hey, I'm like super stoked that you were like into this whole like what's good for the body type of deal, because
Yeah.
it is a diet, but for the most part, I feel like your mentality and also my mentality is like what's good for the body,
Mm-hmm.
because we get one body. And if we don't take care of that body, dude, there's people having strokes and heart attacks and shit when they're 30, 40, 50 years old, people dying. And
Yeah, half an hour of stretching every day, something like that. It was either half an hour or an hour a day. If everybody in the American population did like half an hour or an hour, it was a statistic I heard, it would cut down on 70% of the surgeries or something.
holy
like that.
shit.
It's just ridiculous.
Dude, I
All
stretched.
The knees,
I
the
stretched
hips,
for a
the
week.
shoulders, all
I
of
did
that
it for a
stuff.
week, and it made me feel so good because I
Yeah.
couldn't go to the gym, so I did some yoga, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I watched the video on YouTube and did whatever that lady was doing, and
Yeah.
it made me feel so good.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't find time at the gym to just stretch for like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
It's so good for
half
you, dude.
an hour every morning.
Dude, that's awesome that you stretch
Yeah.
half an hour every morning.
Yeah.
I bet it changes the whole dynamic of your body movement for the day.
Well, I don't know. I'm not aware of aches and pains as much, and it makes me unaware of a lot of things, and I feel very productive. But it's interesting. You were talking about being very in tune with trying to nourish our bodies and do the best for our bodies, but our mind is part of our body also, and you were just talking about that too. Feeding your mind also, and I think that has a lot to do with it also, because there is constant evolution of information, technology, things that we are learning that help us to be a better person, more kind, more sensitive, more aware, and to be able to tie both of those in together every single morning just makes me feel better about going out into the world each day.
Man, that's
there's
awesome.
there's so many neat things going on, and to try and keep up with them all, it's almost impossible.
Man,
Just
yeah,
bombarded.
you're right.
Bombarded.
And when you I read this book that changed my whole perspective, my perception on like how really small we are.
Mm-hmm.
Like this shit's crazy, dude. And if you might know it, I don't know, but it blew my mind when I read it, dude. And it's like, if you look up, like, you've been somewhere where there's no light pollution, you can see most of the stars in the sky, right?
Yep.
They're everywhere.
Yep.
They're everywhere, right? So 2 out of every 5 of those stars have orbiting planets that orbit. 2 out of every 5, and there's like some number, like trillion number of stars out there, right? 1 out of every 5 of that statistic. So I guess that would be 1 out of every 10, right? 2 out of 5 would be, so it'd be like 1 of every 10 stars you see in those orbiting planets.
2 out of 5 would be 4 out of 10.
Okay, so 2 out of 10. So 2 out of 10, so half of that. But 1 out of every 5 of those stars,
1 out of 5, okay.
right? So 1 out of every 5 of those 2/5 stars. You're looking up at the sky. A lot of those motherfuckers got planets that are in the Goldilocks zone, which is...
I'm sorry, did you say the
yes,
Goldilocks zone?
It's called the Goldilocks zone.
First of all, what was the name of this book?
It's called Light of the Stars. Fantastic.
Did you read it to Maddox at bedtime?
No, sir.
This was something you read on your own.
Yes, dude.
Okay.
Dude, it's so good, dude. It's so good.
Oh, I don't want to block the kid. The Goldilocks zone.
Yeah, okay, but it is the habitable zone.
Okay.
Meaning that a human being could possibly inhabit that planet. Like it could have life on it, basically. It's built for life. So that's crazy when you look up at the stars and you know that 2 out of every 5 have orbiting planets around them, which is fucking nuts if you think about it, because we're one person on one planet in one solar system in one galaxy, and you're looking up and seeing trillions of stars, millions of galaxies. Who knows how many galaxies there are? Mm-hmm. You know, it's just crazy to me to think about that, dude. It's nuts to think about. Like when you're stretching in the morning, you're one person trying to center yourself and live like the best life you can according to the principles that you find important to you. And like how many other people are doing that or not doing that on just planet Earth or just the United States or just North Carolina or just Wilmington. It's just crazy when I think about like how large of an impact one person can, like Martin Luther King, or you know, anybody like that that's had a huge impact on society, or like J.J. Watt. You know how he was like donating for the hurricane or whatever. Like one person can have this huge impact on an entire country or even the world, you know, and like Gandhi or somebody like that. And it's just such a small thing in a galaxy. Or like a fucking, you know, I can't remember what's the bigger thing than the galaxy. So it's like solar system, galaxy, and something bigger than that. I can't remember. But, dude, that shit's so interesting to me, dude. That lava lamp's about to start popping off, too. It looks like a little titty right now.
I can't think that big.
Dude, it's crazy. It is.
I can't think that
so
big.
when you're stretching in the morning, what do you think about? Like, what,
I'm trying to learn.
Okay.
I got my book going. I'm trying to pick up new stuff. I'm trying to put myself in a position that I can be successful while helping others and not allowing myself to get in the way of it. Ego.
Yeah.
Trying to stay out of ego.
Yeah.
Trying to cause less harm and more good.
Oh, I like that.
Because I don't know. I don't know if I'm selfish by nature. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what my true... Because I've spent so much of my life being selfish and then worked so hard at not being selfish. I don't know what my true... I don't know. I don't know what my true character is. Because it's morphed so many times.
Isn't there like some freedom and power in saying you don't know what your true character is, though? Like there's some freedom in that.
The older I get, the less I know, the less I understand, the more I need to be aware and be conscious.
Man.
It gets simpler as you get older, but then you just realize there's so much out there. And then you're like, oh man, now I want to learn everything. Like I didn't want to learn anything when I was 20. It was go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And now I'm about to turn 50 and I don't have that, you know. I might be halfway through. I might be more than halfway through.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You might live forever.
I might want to keep on going. You know, 70 doesn't seem that old to me now that I'm about to be 50 and like really like getting in tune with myself and my body and my mind, and finally calming down a little bit,
Yeah.
and finally being present. And it's like, well, that's not going to be that long away, but I sure would like to go to law school. I sure would like to go hike the Appalachian Trail. I sure would
it's
like
like
to,
5,000 miles. No, it's not. It's
I
like
don't
2,800 miles or something.
I wouldn't care.
Dude.
It'd just be cool.
People
There's
done it.
Yeah, there's tons of
So
people that
cool,
have done
dude.
it. But how do you separate yourself from your life long enough to just go do it? And you get to a point in life where it's just like, well, I don't care what the consequences are. This is something I want to do. I'm just going to go do it.
Right.
Go Unfuck Yourself, book I just listened to and read.
That's what Lauren's reading. Or
Yeah.
she's read it twice.
Yeah.
She told me I need to read
I
it.
listened to it 2 times
it
in
good?
a row. It's very good. It talks
Okay.
about how, you know who you talk to more than anyone else?
You.
Yourself.
Yeah.
You talk to yourself more than you talk to anyone else, and the amount of negative talk that you give yourself, fear-based. And we talk about this in other forums, how much of our thought process is fear-based. And, we're living the best life that we can live based on all the decisions that we made and what we've gotten through. And there hasn't been anything that we've gone through that we're okay. Like right now, you and I are okay.
Yeah.
So why am I scared? Why am I scared to make the next big leap, to go do something else? Why am I living in fear and not just willing to say, oh, well, if he doesn't like that I do this, I'll just go get another job.
Yeah.
Because I've been jobless before.
Right.
And I always found a job and I was always okay. Just not living fear-based anymore. So it's just really cool. And if you aren't doing what you love doing, if you aren't passionate about life, just change it.
Yeah.
Don't think about it. Don't talk it. Do it.
Dude, I
Just
love
do it. Just go.
I love that.
Yeah.
See, you're answering all the deep questions that I wrote down, dude. I wrote down some questions, and you're just like going above and beyond of what I expected out of this podcast. Like, dude, that is amazing what you just said. Like, that's what I wanted to do.
I didn't
wanted
say
to.
it, I'm
How old?
repeating
How
it.
old are you?
48.
I wanted to
49
pick
this
your.
spring.
I wanted to pick your 49-year-old brain.
48.
40. I'm sorry. I wanted to pick. It's just a number, Josh.
Still self-conscious.
I wanted to pick your brain, and because I feel like, not that I'm in the same spot, but okay. So some of the similar things have crossed my mind, like as far as
You're 28.
yeah, I'm 28, about to be
You
20.
had Maddox when you were 26.
Yeah, I
I
guess
had
so.
Josh Jr. when I was 26.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty damn cool.
Firstborn son.
Yeah, he's mine.
You got a leg up, though.
Yeah. Okay.
You got
Yeah.
a leg up.
Yeah, right, yeah, okay, well, okay, so here's something that I thought that was similar to what, okay, I never wanted to learn shit, like, I was always on drugs and shit, like, whenever I was in high school,
Yeah.
zanned out, like, passing out on my desk, drooling on myself, just completely stupid, just
Yeah.
dumb, right, and I got to this point, ever since I got clean, that I wanted to learn again. Like, I want to have knowledge to share with that kid and other people, but especially him. Like, if he comes to me and he's interested in something that I might not be interested in, but I've read a book about it, or I know a little bit about it, or I know Josh knows about it, or Josh likes to do that, I can be like, hey, look, man, I got a friend that will tell you everything you need to know about smoking a brisket, or whatever, anything, or stretching if you're into that, or whatever. If he's into shit that, like, girls are into, like, I know girls that are into that shit, and I'm not going to judge you for it. Like, let me put you in touch with somebody who knows more about it than I do.
Yeah.
I want to know a lot of people. I want to know a lot about a lot of shit, and I just feel like if I've gotten to that point when I started reading again, like last year, I changed the way I was eating, and I wanted to feel better. I wanted to retain more information. Like, I want to be able to kind of let stuff go out of my brain that serves no purpose, and I want to retain the stuff that I think that can be used in the future, especially with raising him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to, like, my dad is a fucking dude. My dad is awesome. I had a great dad. Like, he would do anything for me, but there was some things I was interested in that, he might not know anything about and didn't really know which direction to point me, and that is just something that I want to have as my strong point with him. It's ever since I had him, it's absolutely radically changed my life, dude.
Sure.
It's made me want to be better, and it's made me like this podcast. Like, I wanted to do a podcast, but I was like, how do I start it? Like, are people gonna want to do it? You know, like, what am I going to talk about? I don't know anything, you know?
But here's your advantage. How did you learn how to start a podcast?
I did it. I just did it, bro. I listened to other people, and I just did it.
Yeah.
And I started,
Where did you get your information?
For what, the podcast?
Technology, how to produce
call people.
how to put it out
Oh,
there.
shit. I had to learn and, like, mess a bunch of shit up and, like, call people. Like, I'm like, how do I hook this microphone up so I can hear your voice in both headphones, and how do I get it onto a memory card so I don't have to record it straight to a laptop, or how can I sync the mics with the video footage, and like and you sync the mics like this. So I'll sync the mic up with that clap.
Yeah.
So I'll go however many minutes. It's 50. So 54 minutes in, I'll go and I'll sync the mics up. It'll be like a little. Anyway, that's how I learned, like messing a bunch of shit up and calling people after I messed it up, or sometimes preferably before I messed it up, and figured out how to do it. But
book I just read, Power of Habit, and they were talking about at NASA. Part of their culture is every time they send something up and it blows up, they all cheer. They like clap. They just lost millions and millions and billions of dollars, and and the thought process behind it is that without failure, you never have success. So instead of being super upset and bummed out and saying, "Oh, we done messed up again. Oh, we're still trying. Let's go.
Damn.
Let's give it another shot."
That's real?
Yeah.
Like, they really do that?
Yeah. They cheer every time.
Wow.
Now, if it was a manned,
yeah,
they most certainly would not do that. But
right.
They've sent up so many rockets that we probably aren't even aware of. Who knows what's going on with all that money they got? But just embracing the fact that we will fail at certain things in life, but keeping on. And one of the things I was hoping you would say is the internet.
Oh, the internet's amazing.
The
dude.
amount of knowledge that you can do. You can look up a YouTube video.
God,
I decided that I wanted to build a building in the back of one of the houses, and so I looked up YouTube videos. I would sit there and I obsessively watched how to do carpentry, how to build walls, how to build all this stuff, and just got all the guys to help, and half of them said they knew how to do it, and I found out very quickly that they didn't.
Mm-hmm. And the ones that did, you learned from.
Some I did, and some I learned through trial and error. I got more crooked boards in there, but we eventually straightened it out. I feel like the next time I build a building, it's going to be twice as good.
Oh, yeah.
But it was so much fun, and it was just interesting. I built something off of YouTube videos, and
That's
for me at
cool.
my age, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people my age don't embrace all of that as much. But being around so many younger people and staying on top of just hearing about their technology through investigative procedures that I have to do at times.
Yeah.
It keeps me. I feel like it keeps me a little younger and a little bit more in tune with what's going on than a lot of people have the advantage of having in their lives.
Dude, we're in a weird time, dude.
It's a cool time,
Such a cool time.
They probably thought when the first, if you think about when the first book got printed,
yeah,
and everybody was able to read the same thing, they were like, "Oh my God, a book!"
Or a map. Think about a map, dude, and the shit wasn't even accurate.
Yeah.
Like the first map they made, they're like, "Oh yeah, there's probably a mountain here and a pond here."
Yeah.
And the pond was over there and the mountain was over there, but they were still stoked about it.
Think about the explorers and using the stars and
all
of that, and how intelligent somebody had to be to figure that one out. So there's always, we say we're in the most innovative time ever in the history of the world, and that's exactly what the next generation is going to say.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have something new. You said Amazon, it's the biggest thing right now. They own it. They're doing it. He's the dude. AOL was the dude.
Yeah.
And this was in our lifetime.
Yeah.
This was in our lifetime.
Even the past 10 years.
Somebody else was the dude, and he's no longer the dude.
The dude.
Who's the next dude?
Who's the next dude? Could be you, Josh.
No.
Could be.
I'm just good. I'm just good with life today.
That's probably what the next dude said 10 years ago. Dude, that's yeah. To me, like, it's crazy to think about in the past 15 years how cell phones and social media and Netflix and like on demand, like, you can snap your fingers and you can search and you can look in YouTube. Dude, YouTube is insane how much shit is on there. You can learn how to do, like, back when you were growing up, you would have to have somebody that's done it almost. Like, you almost need somebody that's done it to teach you how to do it.
Either that or an encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia.
So everybody
Damn.
had, if you were lucky enough, your family had bought an encyclopedia set, and you could go down in the living room or the library or wherever it might be in your house, and you'd look up in the encyclopedia. Or you would go to the library, you'd ask the librarian
Right.
to show you in the Dewey,
I've been there, Josh.
in
I'm
the Dewey
28.
Decimal System. Well, you sit there and you talk about, well, how far along cell phones have come in the past 15 years.
Yeah.
And I was there when there weren't cell phones.
Now you got an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, boy.
And this was Star Trek.
Yeah.
This was Star Trek.
And microwaves were Jetsons, bro.
Yeah, when I was growing up, this was Star Trek. This was the shit that they showed on TV that seemed unrealistic, and now it's every day.
Have you seen Black Mirror?
I think I tried to watch it. I couldn't get
Dude,
captured.
Dude, that shit is nuts, bro.
I think I'm more into real life documentaries now.
That shit's... Yeah,
That's
no,
my
I
thing.
am too, but this
Rotten.
shit... This is gonna happen. Like, things on Black Mirror will happen. Rotten, what is that?
Rotten is they investigate something. The one that was really good was the honey,
Honeybees.
the honey,
The fake honey.
the fake
I
honey
saw that.
made out of rice.
Yeah, from China.
Yeah.
Or Japan. One of the rice-eating countries.
China's some dirty jokers when it comes to business.
And they'll slap honey on that barrel real quick.
Yeah.
100% honey. And that shit is straight rice, baby.
Yeah, but now they got the honey authentication labs.
The honey police.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's like a
dude.
real thing. It's like a big thing, but that's the oldest sweetener known to man.
Yeah.
Is honey.
Dude, bees are so important to our existence.
Super important. What was the thing about the bees?
I think
and
I
the
saw that
Russian
one, too.
Mafia where they stole all the bees from the guys that were out in California that
Yeah.
took their bees out there, and it was
To,
like
to do the almonds. Weren't they?
yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that. Dude, that
Yeah.
shit is crazy,
Isn't
dude.
it though? There's so much going on. And
Okay.
then the maple syrup.
I didn't see that one. I'm going to check that shit out, bro.
man.
Yeah, I didn't realize what that was called when I was watching it. But
Rotten.
listen to this shit, Josh.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Okay. Is it in the Goldilocks?
It's
sector?
almost, yeah, it is. It's
Okay.
almost your bedtime.
All right.
But anyway, so if all insects were to disappear from Earth, within 50 years, all life on Earth would end. If all human beings disappeared from Earth, within 50 years, all forms of life would flourish. Dude.
We're destructive.
Dude. To me, that's absolutely bonkers, and it shit like that changes my political view. Like, my view politically changes because our environment and the way we treat planet Earth, dude, it's so important.
We're the premise for every movie out there.
What, humans?
Yeah. What did we do? What were they trying to do in Black Panther? What was the mineral or the thing?
Oh, it was not ore, but
It was something.
yeah.
What did they do?
Damn, that was a cool movie.
In all these alien life forms, they come and they want to suck all the resources out of our
Yeah.
planet. Superman.
Yeah.
We're the premise, but we're doing it to ourselves. We don't even have to have invaders come in to destroy our planet. We're doing it ourselves.
Dude, that's
all
crazy.
for money.
Damn. See, that shit changes my political view, and also like my view on, like, I will not throw no trash out of my, like, I used to litter, like, and not give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, when I smoke cigarettes, I'll still smoke a cigarette every once in a while, so let me not act like I'm all high and mighty, but when I smoked a lot of cigarettes, when I used to, flick the butts out the window,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's such a shitty way to go to
Such
do
a
life,
shitty-
dude. To
Yeah.
throw shit out of your window,
Mhm.
it's not going to disappear, dude.
No.
It's going to go back into the earth. And if it's plastic and shit like that, that's terrible. That's
No.
absolutely terrible. So, I mean, I get that. Isn't that crazy? Like, if all insects were to stop living, nothing would be here. Like,
Yeah.
it would be done. Because the honeybees in that Rotten documentary, like, without those bees, we don't have almonds. Like, those particular bees, they brought them there to pollinate the almond trees or something
That's
like
exactly
that.
what they did.
Yeah, so, and, bees like communicate?
Mhm.
Like, they can actually communicate in a swarm
Mhm.
and, like, tell which way to go and shit. Like,
Yeah.
dude, that is, when you think about how intricate just this planet is, and, like, small little shit like that. On an episode of Black Mirror, bees are drones. and they can kill you. One of them, they can crawl up your nose and blow your fucking whole brain out. Yes, bro. There's bee drones, and then I looked it up on YouTube, and there's actually bee drones. They're actually a thing. That's a real thing. It's like a prototype, but it's like a dragonfly almost. But it's like this small little drone. It's like this big, and it has these intricate little wings that we created. We created this thing. To me, that's nuts. And there's drones that are like this big, and this is a real thing too. They'll go into a building. You gotta look this shit up, dude. I'll send you the video. But this shit's crazy. They'll go into a building. They'll have a facial recognition software, and they will target a human being through a photograph, and they will only kill that one person. They'll go blow a hole out of a building. This shit is nuts, bro. They'll blow a hole out of a building, and they'll put one bullet right into your brain, and then they'll fly off. One person. So they're trying to do, you know how we have drone strikes and they kill a bunch of people that aren't supposed to kill, like not the terrorists, but other people?
Yeah.
So, like the casualties of like blowing up a building or whatever, they're trying to do away with that and get one drone. Like if you do something fucked up, like to harm an entire country, they can put your face recognition in this drone and it will hunt you down and blow your fucking brains out, dude. How crazy is that, dude? Don't have no bad dreams tonight when you fall asleep in 3 seconds.
I'm not gonna.
Please don't. Dude, I'm going to save these questions just for the next time we do a podcast, because I feel like I'm so glad we did a podcast, because I know you're not going to admit it on here, but you're chock full of knowledge, son. Like, you have knowledge on, like, some of the weirdest shit, and, like, you know a lot about shit that other people don't know about, or they might not think is important, like a smokehouse. What'd you say that thing was, dude? A waterhouse leg plank? What was it, Josh?
Steamship round.
Steamship round. You see, dude,
You got it, Goldilocks.
Dude. So, you know, like, dude, that is perfect for podcasts. Like, the more podcasts you listen to, you'll learn that, like, the more shit you, like, useless knowledge, quote unquote, is not useless knowledge. Like, yours is applicable to your life as an individual, but, like, anybody can listen to this once I put it on my website. And because I bought my website and designed it myself on Squarespace. Yeah, it was super easy, dude. Like, and it looks sick. I'll send you the link. That's the website. I'll send it to you whenever I post it, so you can have access to the podcast. But it's just I'm fucking, like, if you want to do more podcasts, I'm definitely down, because I feel like I can get so much out of you.
We got to guide it more. We're all over the place.
I like it. I like it like,
being all over
dude,
the
I
place?
like it like that, dude.
Like it growing organically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love it, like organic. Sometimes I'll write questions down if I don't know somebody really well. Like if I need points.
Sure.
And I just feel like I just like to let it go and let it fucking go wherever it wants,
So the premise was the brisket. Tell me what happened.
Dude, we went off on a tangent and it was beautiful.
I know, but you said that the brisket, you made one.
Oh, tell you what happened with my brisket.
And it never came to temp. It didn't come to temp, but your cooker was too low. And for some reason you had read that having the temp at a certain degree, you were no longer smoking.
Yeah.
But you were...
well, the grill cuts off. It's a safety feature.
What is the grill cut off at?
Grill cuts off at like 165 or 145 or something. It says it in the manual, dude. It's a safety feature on the grill. I don't know why that would be, but it is. And it's because I kept opening the lid. First of all, the first one I made,
165, but if the grill only gets up to 165, the meat can't reach the temperature it needs to get to.
Correct. Yeah. So I'll take you through it so you understand, because you're confused about what happened. So,
I'm confused that a smoker is made that won't get a product up to the temperature it needs to be.
It will get it up there, but it will get it to the temperature that it was supposed to be if I'd stop opening the damn lid so much.
What do you set your smoker on temperature?
I'm going to set it up higher the next time I do it.
What did you set it on?
225.
So
the second time.
So it does go
It goes up to 450. It's a grill. It's a wood pellet grill, so it will smoke and it will also cook and it will bake. You can do everything on it, dude. It has a smoke setting.
So it has a smoke setting and a grill setting.
It has a smoke setting, 185, 225, 250, 275, 350. It goes up by 25s all the way to high, which is 450.
And what is the grill setting? How does that different than the smoker setting?
I guess the grill setting, you would just turn it up higher. So if you're grilling something, it's at a higher temperature than it would be to smoke it.
Okay.
Right?
I didn't know
Essentially.
if, the way you were describing that, it sounded as if you were saying there was different modes that you could put this thing in.
There's a smoke mode, and then there's temperature after that. So you can leave it all the way down on your first setting, which is smoke.
Which is what temperature?
I don't know.
What is the next?
165 probably, 150.
Yeah.
The next temperature is 185.
I want to say in culinary school when we did a cold smoke, which was, you know, it had an interesting flavor. It wasn't a flavor that I thought good of.
Right.
We did this for a whole week with an indoor smoker underneath a hood, and I burned all of my clothes because the taste of that cold smoke was so awful, and it permeated everything. I'd go home and take a shower after class every single time. It just
Probably
wasn't
still
a good
smell
flavor.
like it.
Oh my god, it was awful. It was awful. I didn't like any of the products we made that went along with it. So when I got my smoker and it was able to go to a higher temperature, I started appreciating. Because at first I was like, well, I don't like anything smoked.
Yeah.
I don't like.
You don't like
anything
it
smoked.
cold smoked.
I do not like it cold smoked, and there's certain like mesquite. I'm not a big fan of that flavor.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
is a type of wood which
Right.
gives it a very distinct flavor.
That's
You
what
have
I had.
Different woods. You have mesquite.
I had hickory and I had mesquite. I'm testing out different shit to see.
Did you like the mesquite?
You know, I used a whole bag of hickory first.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything I've cooked has been on hickory, and I just poured some mesquite in there.
Yeah.
So it's just starting to get the mesquite. So I really don't even know what that flavor is yet. Like
Okay.
I honestly don't know if I like it or not.
All right.
Certain recipes. So I have a Traeger app.
Uh-huh.
It tells me how to cook stuff. Some of it's very fucking inaccurate. They need to double check their shit. So it'll tell you what type of pellets to use, how to prepare it, and how long to smoke it or cook it for, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So it'll tell you like, you know, if you're doing a brisket, it's pretty much like following a recipe, but how to implement your Traeger grill into the recipe or whatever. I mean, there's cheesecakes on there. There's like all kinds of like cobblers and.
What an awful thing to smoke a cheesecake.
Dude, it's a cheesecake with crescents. Like it's like you smoke it with cherry. So you smoke it with cherry pellets, and it gives your crescents like a hint of cherry, basically. So it tells you how to bake bread in there. You can bake bread on it, and like, just all kinds of shit. And it might suck. I don't know. But I'm gonna try a lot of it and just see what I like. But okay,
Sure.
I'll take you through my first two briskets, and then maybe you, like we started at the beginning, maybe you can tell us how to smoke a brisket, and then we'll end it because it's almost your bedtime.
Gotcha.
So, first brisket, didn't use tin foil. Okay, I put a rub on it. I got a brisket side cut or something like that. It's like a 5 to 6 pound thing. It's like a flat with a big layer of fat on the bottom of it. I got it from Harris Teeter. Probably about like that, 5 to 6 pounds. I put it on the grill, and every hour it told me to spray it with this. It was Worcestershire sauce. You could use like some type of alcohol, but I used Coca-Cola or something like that. Pepsi. It said you could use Pepsi instead of the alcohol. And then something else. I don't know if it was soy.
I've seen apple juice used a lot.
Apple juice, that's what it was. It was saying you could use apple juice or Coca-Cola or both if you wanted it.
Yeah.
But it gave it a great flavor. It gave it like this crust on the outside almost. I smoked it for I think 9 hours, but I kept it on smoke the whole time, which is like 150, 165, I'm guessing.
Sure.
I watched the digital thing, and it stayed kind of in that area. It has a digital reader, and it tells you the temperature. So it never got up.
And it recommended cooking a brisket at 150 in the Traeger book?
It said smoke it for 4 hours, and then it said turn it up to 225 for 4 hours.
Okay.
So basically an 8-hour deal.
Sure.
It never reached the internal temp it needed to reach.
Okay.
I never put tinfoil on it. I just left it on there the way it was. I sprayed it every hour.
All right.
And the outside was decent. The ends were good. Like the burn ends were delicious.
Okay.
But once you got in, 85% of it was trash, dude. Like it really wasn't that good.
Sure. So
Tough.
how did you cut it?
Not the right way. Because I
Okay.
watched some YouTube videos on how to cut it.
All right.
Against the grain, right? You cut it against the grain.
So So when you talk about cooking things, you talk about the cut of the meat and the quality of the meat, and the tougher the meat, you use different cooking methods. You can boil. Boiling takes a lot of the flavor out of it. It's absorbed into the water. It, no texture or anything.
Yeah,
like
I don't
that.
really like
when
that.
you when you talk about spraying it down with apple juice and the Coca-Cola, you're imparting flavor onto it, and you're also putting the sugar on there. And when the sugar caramelizes, it causes the crust.
I love that.
So you have fibers that run through the meat, and so when you get a pork butt, I'll use a pork butt because I cook a lot of pork butts as an example. It is a very tough piece of meat full of fiber. So you cook it at a low heat for a long time, and as that low heat, those fibers disintegrate, and that's how come it's so tender and
You can
everything
pull
is
it apart.
because you've already taken all the fibers. Now, when you get a fillet, you sear it on both sides very quickly. Why?
Right.
Not a lot of fiber in there.
So to keep your fiber in, you're actually searing it.
It's not keeping it in. They're just it isn't there. You don't have the muscles, the tendons, the fibers, and everything going through there.
Right.
So you say, well, what about roast beef, Josh?
What about roast beef, Josh?
You say, well, with roast beef, you get rare roast beef. You
Right.
get medium rare roast beef. Well, you haven't cooked that for a long time. In Maryland, they call it pit beef. They do a charcoal sear on the whole outside of it. But how do you usually get roast beef?
I get it like medium rare whenever I'm getting it.
Very thinly sliced.
Very thinly sliced, yeah.
And the reason you slice it so thin is that when you're eating it, sometimes you'll still get some of those fibers and it'll be a little bit chewy, but for the most part, it kind of dissolves because those fibers have been cut so short, it makes the meat more tender.
Ah.
So with the brisket, it's got fibers running through it. If you cut it the wrong way, it's going to be very chewy. Now, a lot of people smoke a brisket and they say, well, I want it to fall apart. I want it to be similar to this pork butt. It's a totally different cut of meat.
Right.
So people will say, well, it didn't fall apart. Well, it's not gonna.
Right.
You're not looking for it to fall apart. So it'd be interesting for you to cook a brisket. I'm very disappointed that you didn't have appetizers of pieces of brisket left over for me to sample. But that's all right. We'll get to that one.
Sorry about that.
We'll get
You don't want none of this brisket, I'll tell you that right now.
But you can always learn a lot from the product. So you made some
You
mistakes.
cheer when the rocket blows up,
So
right?
if I had seen it, I'd have been like, dude, you did this part super good. That was awesome. And here's where you can improve.
Oh, okay. Next time I cook one, maybe you can come test it.
Sure, I'd love to. I do that all the time.
Critique.
When I talk about how to communicate with others, I talk about the compliment sandwich.
Yeah, you do that a lot. You do
Always
the compliment
Say
sandwich.
something really good because then you get somebody's attention. The most pleasing thing to a person is their own name or something that they do good. You know, compliment. People love to be complimented. They love to feel good about themselves, especially if others notice it. It felt very good when you said that I keep my composure.
Yeah.
Because there's been like 2 or 3 people this year who have said that when describing me. They said, you know, you always keep your composure. And I never realized that because in my head I don't.
Yeah. But in reality, you do.
In reality, I do. I'm glad.
Well, you
that-
start a lot of your sentences like, hey, Alex. Speaking of the compliment sandwich, you're like, hey, Alex.
The name game.
The name game.
The name game's a lot of fun.
Okay.
The name game's a lot of fun. So you might have done very good, but not been aware that you had done as good because your expectation was for something else. First time I cooked a brisket, it wasn't what I wanted it to be. I had these sauce-covered, very sugary sauces that I had gotten in restaurants that had been overcooked. They were very tender, and I thought that's what brisket was, fall apart, super tender.
That's what I've had. Super tender brisket. Like moist, fatty, super tender.
Yeah. It's somewhat that, but not as much. It's a little bit tougher of a piece. You want it to have, almost a stretchy aspect to it that it's not just going to fall apart when you tug at it. You still want to be able to taste the beef flavor. You don't want it to be overpowered by this sugary sauce. When I used to make my barbecue, George Hale always gave me a hard time. He'd say, well, the barbecue would have been really good if you hadn't put all that shit sauce on it. And I would actually make a sauce and just drench it in this sauce before I served it. Now I don't do that anymore.
You just let people put their own sauce on it.
Yeah, I do make a homemade barbecue sauce.
You let people put as much as they want on there.
Or as little as they want,
Right.
because I've learned how to, because of the smoker, I've learned how to cook it so that, man, that smoked meat has a great flavor.
Mm.
And there's nothing like it right when it comes out of the oven. You and I talked about that. There is nothing like it. That is the best you will ever have is when it's fresh.
Well, right when considering like a brisket, right when it's done resting, you mean?
When it's through with its hour
Right.
of resting.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like when you eat it after that hour.
I don't think so. When you do that first cut. So when I did my first really good brisket, it was like something I had never tasted before.
I'm definitely cutting it wrong with the fiber.
Yeah.
That's definitely
So you'll see
a problem.
the grain. You'll see the grain of the meat,
Okay.
and you cut it against that, the exact
Okay.
opposite
Like
way.
wrinkles almost
So-
is what it looks like.
So if the grain of the wood is going this way, you would be cutting very thin slices that way.
Oh.
Yep.
That is a big part of, I believe.
It's a huge part of it.
Yeah, I
mean, you
definitely
got this
messed that up.
gristly piece of meat that you're trying to chew up, and that's not enjoyable.
No, that's what we had. That's
You-
exactly what we had.
So you might have done a great job. The brisket might have been perfect.
Didn't
but
cut
you
it
just
right.
cut it the
Damn.
right way. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy how something that, in my mind, I would look at as a small, like, fuck it, cut it however you want. You know, in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're just going to cut this shit. It's going to taste the same. But that's not the case.
And it tasted the same, but the texture was different.
The texture was my least favorite part about it,
Yeah.
to be completely honest with you.
So presentation is when you eat with your eyes. The texture is always very important. So that's why you don't boil it and you put that crust on the outside of it, because that's a lot of flavor, the caramelized sugars, the charring, the smoke and everything,
Mm.
you know, and then keeping it simple with the flavors. You know, you talked about doing a coffee rub, and it might have been a great rub. I try not to overpower it with too many things. Salt and pepper are great.
I think I want to
Usually
try
take
meat
it-
church, dude. You ever
meat
try?
church?
You never tried meat church,
Meat
bro?
church?
Dude, I've been seeing a lot of Instagram is the shit. Do you have Instagram?
No.
Okay, well, Instagram.
Meat church?
Yeah, Meat Church is the name of the place. They have their own rubs, all kinds of shit. Most videos I've watched on cooking a brisket.
Oh, whoa. Why don't you make your rub based on the flavor profile that you like? Why do you? Have
I
to
don't
do
know what
somebody-
flavor profile I like,
That's why you
honestly.
got to get in there and start playing,
Yeah.
because they're going to say spices and flavorings and all this stuff, and you don't know what that is.
I really don't.
No. But what do you like? You like garlic?
Love garlic.
Put some garlic in there. Salt and pepper is always important.
I like salt, but I like Himalayan pink salt. I like shit like that. Kind of a rockier,
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. Coarser grain.
Kind of a coarser grain.
So
yeah.
look up the 5 rubs that you think you would like based on. Look up Meat Church.
Yeah.
Look up.
See what the
look
ingredients
up-
are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anytime I cook, it doesn't matter what the dish is. I look up 5 different recipes,
Okay.
and then I throw away the cookbook, and I just
Take
go,
what you want.
I just go make it.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
That's badass, dude.
Well, it's just, you know, getting familiar with the ingredients and what their flavorings are and what I like. Because what I
Right.
like might not be what you like. I've got
Right.
a sweet palate, so I enjoy the sauce that I make. Has a lot of brown sugar in it, molasses. I've put Dr. Pepper in it before to give it just a funky little
Barbecue
thing.
sauce you're talking
Yeah, my
about.
barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
I do 50% vinegar, 50% tomato sauce. And in some people, that's sacrilegious. In this
I
area,
love that. I mix them together in the restaurant
Yeah.
like that.
But when you put
I'll do a mustard and ketchup base mixed, bro.
yeah, when you put what is it, crushed red pepper and vinegar, that's not a damn sauce.
No,
You just
but
spilled some crushed red
yeah, I
pepper
don't-
and some vinegar.
I don't much care for that,
You
dude.
did.
Dude, I
But
was
some people grew up with it, so they're familiar with it. So I don't fault them for that. But
yeah.
so what I want you to do is just to keep on doing it.
I'm definitely going to.
Yeah, and just play with it.
I want to be able to like what you do. Like you when I've seen you cook, I know it's pulled pork, but I'm not sure what cut of meat. Like when you do the big portions of barbecue, what are you
Yeah.
actually cooking? A whole pig?
No, a whole pig's a waste.
Okay, so
There's
what
so
do you
much. So a pig is great for a social event,
Right.
And you all sit around and you drink beers all night, and you
You
watch
look at
this
its
pig
dead
and
body.
you flip it over and
Yeah.
everything, and you're like, oh wow, that sure was fun. And then everybody picks a little piece of it.
Yeah.
And the amount of meat that you use off of there is, I don't even know what the percentage is,
Right.
but if I had to guess, I would say, for what you get, you probably only use 50 to 60% of it.
Damn.
You know, so a pork butt is very efficient. So you get a huge
Is
product.
that what you use for pulled pork?
Just pork
Okay.
butts. So you get a huge product yield.
Okay.
Based on there's everything goes in there. There's like I pull out the bone, and then there's this other piece that I pull out of there, just a tough
Gristly.
cartilage.
Yeah.
Everything else disintegrates because it just cooked for 8 to 10 hours. So all the fat has disintegrated, all of the tendon, everything's disintegrated in there. And in French cooking, fat is flavor. So if that fat disintegrates into that meat and is absorbed by it, that's flavor.
That's what I was
good.
hoping with the brisket. That's what I was hoping would.
You'll get it.
Yeah.
It's all right. You'll get it. You didn't have it hot enough.
I didn't have it hot enough.
I don't think you had it hot enough.
Definitely didn't. I was thinking about next time either like leaving it on there at 225 longer or turning it to 250 and leaving it. So the videos I was watching, when they went to go check the temperature of it, or they went to go kind of. So like now that I have the thermometer you gave me, I won't have to open it at all.
Yeah.
But they were showing like when they went at the very end when it's supposed to be done, that shit went in there like butter, dude.
Yeah.
Like the Pride, the little stick with the thermometer.
Yeah.
It just, dude, when I went to go do it, it was way tougher than what I was seeing, what I felt like it should be like.
So did you smoke it open and then you encapsulate
The
it?
second time I did that.
You encapsulated
Yeah,
it the
and
second time.
yes, and the temperature got a lot higher than it did the first time. The
Yeah.
internal temperature of the meat.
Yeah.
So it was closer
Yeah.
to where closer to my goal temperature,
Yeah.
and which I think was a step in the right direction.
It is.
But also I set it on a pan. I put tinfoil on. This was just me guessing. I didn't see this
Sure.
shit nowhere. I set it on a pan and put tinfoil underneath it. So when I went to go encapsulate it after 4 hours, I took the tinfoil that was underneath it.
You had it on a pan?
I had it on a pan in my smoker, which was probably a poor idea.
I wouldn't think it was a great idea
Yeah.
because the smoke takes the path of least resistance.
Yeah, so it really didn't
it's going
smoke
around it, and then it's going straight up to
Yeah.
your vents.
No video I saw did they do that. So probably a very poor idea. I won't do it again, let me put it that way.
It's okay.
Yeah, but I was
It's
thinking
okay.
next time, this is my plan, and tell
Okay.
me what you think.
All right.
So I really want that meat church rub. I really want to try it.
Sure.
I want to try it and see if I like it better than the coffee rub. Coffee rub's a little too sweet for me. I'm not.
Okay.
Everybody raves about
What
it.
was the ingredients in there that you like so much?
I don't know. I just tried it because I had been hearing coffee rub, coffee rub, coffee rub. Try it.
Sure.
It's just a little. It's just a little too sweet for me, dude. I don't know.
Hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
And pork handles sweet a lot better than beef.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Just
You
because.
ever had sweet and sour pork at the Chinese restaurant?
I don't think so.
It's a very popular dish. though.
Yeah. I've had sweet and sour chicken.
You ever had sweet and sour beef?
Yeah, from
You have?
from buffet, Chinese buffet,
I've never
right?
seen it.
Isn't it like a little thin cut beef, and it's like like at the buffet, it's in like a like your
I
buffet.
have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't, dude. Maybe I put sweet and sour sauce on it. Thought it was. No, I've had sweet and sour chicken, but
Pork handles sweet a lot better than
okay,
beef.
okay, just because of the meat,
Yeah.
the fibers probably have something to do with it.
No, they both have fibers, just because of the flavor.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
The flavor of the pork and the flavor of the beef
Yep.
differ, so that one takes on. Yeah. So here's my plan next time when I cook a brisket, and tell me what you think. Obviously, not using the pan.
Okay.
I would like to use a rub. I would like to get the meat church rub because I don't like the coffee rub as much. I want to find some, like you're saying, make your own rub. I want to find something similar to what I like, so I can kind of pull from that.
Sure.
And then maybe find another one I like, pull from that, and figure out because I have no clue.
Mhm.
I want to put the rub on there, put it on the grill. You said 4 hours is as long as that meat will take on smoke for the
Yep.
most part.
Yep.
So I want to smoke it for 4 hours. Like put my setting on smoke. Don't open the grill. That's the main thing because if
I
I
don't think you should do that.
don't open, what do you mean?
I think you should have it higher than smoke.
Okay. Well, 225.
Sure.
So put it on 225, and then
So what you're doing during that time that it's absorbing smoke, if it's on 225, some of the fat is disintegrating and it's going into the meat. you are getting a char on the outside of there, so the juices aren't falling out.
Okay. Even if there's nothing underneath it,
Even
you're
if
saying.
there's nothing underneath it.
Okay. That was my misconception. That's why I thought a pan was a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's keep the fucking juices in it because
If you want to boil it, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Put it
not
in
what
the
I wanna
pot,
do.
Add some water, get it real
No,
warm,
sir.
let all the juices.
No, sir. I don't
No.
want to do that. Okay. So I'm going to lay it on the grill with the rub.
Yeah.
4 hours on 225. And I was thinking about cranking it up to 250 for the last 4 hours. But I also want to encapsulate it. I want to go get some of that big boy tinfoil you were telling me about.
Yeah.
Like shit you can actually wrap a brisket and encapsulate
Sure.
it in. So after the 4 hours of 225, maybe take it off, put it on a piece of tinfoil, encapsulate it, put it back on there for 4 hours on 250.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe I should leave it at 225. I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, well, we're going to 250 because I feel like that's
Go
the
right
only
ahead.
surefire way to make sure this thing gets done in a decent amount of time, dude. I don't want to be... By the time 12 hours rolls around, I either have to get up at 5 o'clock and start doing it, or I need to...
It's a long time to cook a brisket.
A long time, dude. I don't want to do that.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I'd like to get it in 9 hours or 8 hours.
You should most certainly be able to.
So I'm turning it to 250 then, and I'm going to
Yeah.
see what happens.
190.
Maybe in the first 4 hours, I'll spray it with that shit because I really like the crust flavor that it got on there.
Okay.
So maybe the first 4 hours, I'll kind of open it every hour, spray it, shut it real quick.
The char.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once I encapsulate it, don't mess with it for 4 hours. And just
Yeah.
watch my little meat thermometer you gave me. And just once it hits that 200 or 195 temp, do I need to go ahead and shut it down?
Yeah, that's when you put it in the
So
cooler.
that's, yeah, okay.
That's it.
Okay. All right, cool.
That's
Well,
it.
I
Let
mean,
it
I
rest.
feel like the next time I do it, the cut is going to have a lot to do with it as far as
Quality of the cut.
the quality of the cut.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go get a brisket if they have something for reasonable, like at Costco. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go to Costco and get it. If you
Okay.
think they might have a 5 or 6 or 7 pounder, because most of the time you got to get something big in there. I feel like I don't want to get nothing too big.
Why? You could feed more people.
Well, when I get good at it, I want to get something huge and I like big.
You want to do a steamship.
I want to do a fucking steamboat classic, bro. So when I get good at it, I want to get a bigger piece of meat and feed more people. But I wasn't embarrassed by it, but I definitely knew that the potential of the meat and the grill, I definitely knew there was more potential than what came out of that grill.
Sure.
What I got out of it or whatever. And I was watching a video on how to cut it, and then in the middle of the video, I was like, fuck it. Let's go.
Let me go.
I didn't know how
I got
important it
this.
was until just now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna try it again, and maybe you can come taste
I would
taste
absolutely
it.
love to.
Taste it.
Yeah. And then next time I cook on my smoker, you're coming over.
Yeah. I'd like to come, like, see what's the goal here. Like, what are we working towards? Because I've had it out of restaurants, and it's been very good, phenomenal.
Yeah.
But you know, like you were saying, sometimes it's a little tougher than what people are used to.
Yeah. Or what their expectation is.
Yeah, because that was my expectation.
You had said fall off the...
Fall off the bone. Yeah.
Like with ribs, they say fall off the bone, but that's not the goal.
It's teeth tug.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Like tug of the tooth.
Tug. You have to be able to bite it and tug it a little bit.
And
That's
for
when
it to fall off the bone.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
if
that
it
makes
just falls
sense.
off, it's overcooked.
Yeah. So that's, dude, if you didn't learn anything from this podcast, you fucking were not paying attention. Let me just say that. And if you're out there stretching and it's 5:30 in the morning and you're listening to the Hunt for Greatness podcast with Alex Hunt and Josh Shipman, we love you and we appreciate you listening. And I really appreciate you coming on my podcast, and I hope we can do more, because I'd love to sit down and talk to you anytime.
I've enjoyed it.
Let's do it a few times a year. Let's try.
Anything. I would love to.
Yeah.
I'd
Hey,
absolutely love
Alex. That's what you say when you see me. Hey, Alex. That's what
Let's
Josh
go-
says
hey,
when he sees
Alex, let's go hunt for some greatness.
me. Yeah, dude. I like that. Thank y'all for listening to the podcast. Josh, thank you for coming over and doing the podcast. I know you should be in bed right now, but you fucking went out of your way to come on here, and I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I love you,
enjoyed it.
buddy.
Love you too.
Cool. Thank y'all. We out.